Apparently, Logan Paul has set out to do everything a person can do in one life. After vlogging, acting, rapping, boxing, pushing NFTs, and starting a successful podcast, he has now made an appearance in the WWE. So if you're wondering how and why this happened, you've come to the right place. Let's get into it. For those of you who've been living under a rock, who's this Logan Paul we're talking about? Over the last few years, no one has been involved in more controversies than the notorious Paul brothers. Remember the time a YouTuber walked into the Japanese suicide forest and filmed a real dead body? Yeah, that was Logan Paul. Perhaps you recall an obnoxious young man telling his fans to dab on them haters after he was called out for being a nuisance to his neighbors. That was his younger brother, Jake Paul. And that isn't all. They've also been involved in tasing dead rats, setting a mattress on fire in an empty pool, looting, trespassing, making some terrible rap music, and cyberbullying. So who are they? The Paul brothers were born in Ohio, and they started their careers by making prank videos on the now defunct video platform Vine. After the demise of Vine, they moved to YouTube to continue making videos. And it's here that their popularity skyrocketed. At the time of making this video, Logan has 23.4 million subscribers, and his little bro isn't too far behind with 20.4 million. Logan also runs the Impulsive podcast, which has steadily gained a pretty large audience, and he now has 3.83 million subscribers on that channel as well. Apart from that, he has starred in some poorly received movies such as The Thinning and Baywatch. He's also one of the pioneers of mediocre YouTube music, making some low-effort rap songs and getting millions of views from his young fan base. One of his songs was a diss track aimed at his brother, Jake, while in the other song, he dissed Santa Claus himself. Recently though, both him and his brother have been in the spotlight for starting their professional boxing careers. Last June, Logan fought arguably the greatest boxer of all time, Floyd Mayweather, and the fight controversially ended in a draw, with many speculating that the match was rigged. And in his latest adventure, he has now made his pro wrestling debut. WWE and Logan Paul is a match made in heaven. Considering what a massive crowd puller Logan is, it's not surprising to see him in the WWE at all. After all, why wouldn't the WWE want his massive audience of tweens to be exposed to their weekly scripted wrestling matches? And it's not like Logan isn't a good fit for the company. He's very much capable of putting on a spectacle and getting under the skin of his opponents with his obnoxious trash talking. He's a natural heel, and playing a cartoonish villain in the WWE should be pretty easy for him. He's also a professional athlete and has shown that he's more than capable of holding his own against pretty much anyone. We have no doubt that he can perform almost all the in-ring stunts that the WWE wants him to. The WWE also has a long history of having celebrities on their shows, and the list includes people like Mike Tyson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kim Kardashian, Wayne Rooney, Brad Bunny, and even Muhammad Ali. So it's only natural that in this era where social media figures are the new superstars, the WWE would also start crossing over with this part of the entertainment industry. So don't be surprised if you see more and more YouTubers and TikTokers appearing in the WWE. Next, The Miz welcomes Logan to the wrestling biz. So how did we get to the point of Logan participating in Wrestlemania 38? Well, The Miz started a beef with legendary wrestler Rey Mysterio. The two fought at the Elimination Chamber event earlier this year in February, which The Miz ended up losing. He's not one to give up though, and he later challenged Rey and his son Dominic to fight him at WrestleMania. Both the WWE and The Miz teased his partner to be Cody Rhodes, but they ended up announcing Logan, who is an Ohio native just like Miz. Paul, of course, immediately started dissing the Mysterios and went on to attack both of them. Seriously, how has he taken so long to join the WWE? He was made for this. Speaking to Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour, he revealed that competing in pro wrestling had always been on his bucket list. The Miz had previously appeared on his podcast, and teaming up with him for his WWE debut seemed natural. And like everything else he does, he's completely committed to this as well. Prior to his showdown against the Mysterios, the WWE released footage of him and The Miz putting in some real hard work. So, did it pay off? Yes, it did, and then some. So how did Logan do in his very first official WWE match? Well, he was more than just adequate. He impressed many, and his performance left fans wondering if he had a future as a permanent member of the WWE. He entered the arena backed by his own song, Heart Cold, and was greeted with boos from the audience at the AT&T Stadium in Texas. He was also wearing the world's most expensive Pokemon card, valued around $6 million around his neck. That's some flex. Hate him or love him, you have to admit that the guy's naturally athletic, and he proved that once again in the fight. He executed a number of wrestling moves with perfection, including a suplex to Rey Mysterio, a power slam to Dominic, and even a blockbuster off the middle rope. He also really seemed to enjoy playing the villain, basking in the boos from a crowd of over 70,000 people. He proved himself to be perfectly capable of taking a beating, as he was subject to Rey Mysterio's classic 619 kick to the face, as well as frog splash from his son. He also sent the crowd into a frenzy when he copied the moves and mannerisms of the late Eddie Guerrero, who was one of Rey's best friends. We gotta say, we're impressed by the guy's audacity. The match ended when The Miz tagged himself in and planted Mysterio with his finisher. Logan Paul had won his very first WWE match. He was understandably overjoyed, and he and The Miz both started celebrating. However, The Miz turned on him with a skull-crushing finisher that turned the crowd's boos to loud cheers. But by the end of the night, one thing was perfectly clear. Logan Paul belongs in this world, and if he chooses to pursue this full time, he could have a great career in the WWE. And most people seem seem to agree. And now, fans react to Logan Paul's fight versus the Mysterios. WWE fans were understandably impressed by Logan's performance in the match, and a lot of them took to Twitter to praise him. One Twitter user tweeted that he's already better than CM Punk. Another tweeted that Logan looked very smooth in the ring, and that once he gets some experience, he can do even better. One fan even claimed that if Logan continues down this path, he can become one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. We think that might be going a bit too far. Wrestling writer Brian Alvarez was pleasantly surprised by Logan's performance. He tweeted that you can hate the guy, but he was a total natural out there. Podcaster JD from NY also praised Logan and said that he absolutely killed it. He even claimed that he was better than Bad Bunny was last year. And we have to say, we agree. Not all WWE fans were as welcoming to Logan though, with one saying that this was the first time they hated the guts out of a wrestler. Another said that Logan defeating Rey Mysterio was incredibly disrespectful to the WWE legend, and that this match should have never taken place. So can we expect him to continue down this road? Yes, Logan has hinted at pursuing a full-time wrestling career. Listen, Logan's an ambitious guy, and he has previously claimed that he wants to be the biggest entertainer in the entire world. And after succeeding at vlogging, acting, and boxing, the next world he's aiming to conquer is the world of wrestling entertainment. Speaking to TalkSport, Logan said that he has discussed his desire to work in a backstage role with the WWE. He wants to be involved creatively, but wouldn't turn away the opportunity to become a full-time wrestler either. He said that it depends on his schedule, and he has to be really careful with where he allocates his energy. On another occasion, he told TMZ that he's open to staying in the WWE beyond WrestleMania, but only if the fans want him to. He said if they think he's good, he'll consider joining the company full-time. In the same interview, he said he'd be open to tag teaming with his brother, Jake. So it seems like Logan Paul might have a pretty bright future in the WWE, as long as he doesn't blow it up with another controversy. And that's a wrap for this video. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on Logan Paul joining the WWE. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.